Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're regular here, you know I review many photographic, audio and video related products. And if you're new here, well, that's exactly what I do. In this video, what we're looking at is a comparison. Now, many people criticise comparisons, not just from my channel, but from many channels, because it's kind of, you know, what's the point? And this is definitely one of those sort of videos. What the heck is the point? Because I'm comparing two completely different cameras, and I'm comparing them for my purpose as much as your guys and girls' purpose. And what we're looking at is the Ricoh GR3, which is a real compact street. It's called they called it a street camera for street photography. I don't really do street photography at all, but I wanted a camera that I could take out and about, shove in my pocket and get great images. And this is what it is, the Ricoh GR3, and I'm very delighted with it. It's got a 24 megapixel APS-C sensor and a lens equivalent to about 28mm in full frame terms. And I'm actually went out and about and compared that with and this is where it gets a bit bonkers really. I compared it with my Canon EOS R7, which is getting this shot here. Now I've compared it with the R7 for a couple of reasons really. Firstly, I don't really want to be going out, if I'm just going out for fun, taking a bigger camera. It doesn't have to be the R7. It could be any of my cameras. It could be one of my Micro Four Thirds cameras. It could be my Canon R10 over there. Could even be my RP. You get the point. I don't really want to be taking out a bigger camera, because with these interchangeable lens cameras, it's the lenses that make it really bulky. So I wanted to see, can I get great images almost comparable with a little compact camera such as the Ricoh GR3 compared to my Canon R7. And I've chosen these two to compare because the R7 is an APS-C camera, just the same as a Ricoh GR3. That's got a 24 megapixel APS-C sensor, and the R7 has got a 32 megapixel APS-C sensor. Now, I fitted on my R7 the Canon RF 15-30 lens, and I set that to roughly the same angle of view of what you would get from the Ricoh GR3 to get a more direct comparison. And I set the shutter speed and the aperture is pretty much the same, so I've got a good comparison there. And it was purely to see, can my little compact camera and the resolution that produces compete with the 32 megapixel R7? And when you look at these images, I think you'll find they compete fantastically, and I'm chuffed to bits. I'm so excited that the GR3 is comparable in image quality to the R7. We all know it's not comparable in features. The R7 is interchangeable lenses, so you've got wide angle to telephoto, whatever. It's a great video camera, where the R3 is a crap video camera. But if I just want to take nice stills, good quality stills at a sort of a wider end field of view, I can just take my I keep saying GHR3, me GR3, and you'll see these on these images. I've also uploaded, I don't know which camera to look at, I've also uploaded these images to my Flickr site, so you can have a good look at them there, take a look at them on my Flickr page, see what you think, and then you can compare the two, at home at your leisure, rather than studying them on my YouTube channel. Also, YouTube's compression is so high, you're not going to get the best result out of them. So let's now take a quick look at some of the images that I've taken with my Ricoh GR3 and compared with my Canon R7. Now all I've done, I mounted the GR3, I keep saying the GR3 on top of me R7, so I was able to get a pretty much similar field of view between the two cameras. And although the R7 is a 32 megapixel sensor, I really don't think when you pixel peep you can see any difference, or if it is, it's a minute difference between the quality of the images that come off the GR3 compared to the images that come off the R7. So let's take a look at this one here, and let's compare that. Let's go into that and compare that with the one taken on the the R7, the GR3 compared to the R7. So the one on the left is the GR3. You can tell that by the fact it's a DNG file, and the one on the right is the Canon file. And wide angle, they both seem, you know, exceptionally good. The Canon one, possibly the exposure is a bit higher. The you know, the GR3 is lower. But when you pixel peep, so what we'll do, let's go in tight. Now look at the sharpness there. I mean, if anything, it could be argued the Ricoh might even be slightly sharper. I don't think it is actually. No, it isn't. No, the Canon is that little bit sharper. But don't forget, with the Canon you can change all the lenses. So if I put a different lens on, I would have got a sharper image for sure. So you know, it is. You know, the variables are there, so this isn't a scientific test, but it proved to me that I can go out with just one little camera. I don't have to take, unless I want to take, you know, more telephoto type images, but I can go out with just one little camera. Let's have a look at another image. So let's pick, say, that one and compare that with that one. So we've got the, again, the Ricoh on the left, the Canon on the right. I like the look of the Ricoh better on that particular image. You know, it is so difficult to tell. Although when you zoom in, I prefer the look of the Canon. It doesn't look so digital. I think the Ricoh might be just slightly over sharpened. Tricky to say. Let's have another look at a bench just to compare that. Again, I think the Ricoh's on the right hand side this time. I think the Ricoh just looks, the colours and definition just looks that little bit better on the Ricoh. Let's pixel peep. I don't know why we all love to pixel peep. There's no real logic to it, because when you print these, or if you're displaying them, you're not going to be printing them at incredibly close up resolution, are you? You're not going to be printing them that close. But there you go. So yeah, again, if you look at the clarity, I think with Canon, I mean, they're both, neither of them are fantastic, but that wasn't a good focus point. There we go, that's a better focus point. Yeah, I think the Ricoh might be just that little bit sharper again. The point I'm trying to say is there's so little difference, you really have to pixel peep to see a difference, and even then I'm still not convinced which one is better than the other. This was for me a real fun and a really exciting comparison to do, because I was utterly convinced that the Canon, which with the lens would be at least 3 times the price than what the little Ricoh is, and look at the size difference, massive difference. But again, let's take a look at, let's have a look at that one. Compare that one with that one. So we've got the Canon on the left, the Ricoh on the right. The Canon looks, exposure looks a bit better than the Ricoh. That's ever so easy to sort out in the edit. But again, let's look at sharpness. I don't know where we should point. So yeah, the Ricoh's beautifully sharp. The Canon is as well. Yeah, I think again, how would you pick between the sharpness between those two? It goes to show again, the lens that Ricoh have put in this tiny little camera is a phenomenal lens. Phenomenal lens that they've put inside this little camera. And it is a lovely, lovely sharp lens. So, you know, you're not going to have any issues with that. The only thing, you know, with the Ricoh, being that it's about £800-900, it is expensive for a compact camera. I think we all appreciate that, and I said that in my main review of a Ricoh. It is expensive for a compact camera, but if you are looking for a camera that can take great images, then, you know, is it really that expensive? It depends on, you know, your needs, doesn't it? It depends on what you want and what you can justify. Yeah, image quality, if we ignore the price, which I know we can't do when we're out buying stuff, of course we can't, but if you did ignore the price, the Ricoh is a fantastic camera, beautifully made. and you know, produces great images. Let's again now, let's take a look at this. This is slightly different, and then compare it with that one. So we've got the Canon on the left, the Ricoh on the right. I didn't get the framing quite the same on those, but again, they're both so good. Look at a tight shot there. There we go. That's nice and sharp now. Look at the sharpness there of the lettering on the, you know, it's just so good. So good. Let's have a look at that one. I could go on forever, because I think I've done enough here now to prove there really isn't anything wrong. If you want a camera with a wide angle lens, don't bother taking your SLR or DSLR. Just pick up a nice little Ricoh GRIII, because these side by side images prove, I think, to me, quite categorically, that the Ricoh GRIII is more than capable of competing with, you know, your larger cameras, be it Canon, Pentax, Nikon, you know, whatever. I picked the R7. I could have picked any of the cameras. Yeah, I couldn't be more excited, really. Again, you look at looking at the strength of the colours. If we just look at the colours now, look at the reds on the Ricoh. They're superb. They're gorgeous. In fact, the reds on the Canon are nice, but again, you can read that absolutely spot on. You know, pin sharp on both the daisies, and not daisies, the poppies, and the sign on here, the little, you know, sign there. Same brickwork, stonework, isn't it? Is, you know, fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. So yeah, I'm not going to go any further than that, because I don't think I need to go any further than that. But yeah, fabulous little camera, very comparable with your APS-C mirrorless or your APS-C DSLR, and just a little bit more compact. Shove that in your pocket and it'll always be with you. So yeah, there we go. That's just a quick comparison between the Ricoh GRIII and my Canon R7, which is actually getting this wide shot here, looking across this sort of angle. So so there we go. Now, that is out of interest, it is the R7 getting that wide shot with my Canon EOS 10-18 lens on that camera. I've got another close-up shot here on my Canon RP with a 50mm RF lens. The wide shot there is my Canon R10 with the L series 17-40 lens on, EF 17-40 lens on. And then last but not least, the close-up shot is being picked up with my Sony ZV-1, which I always use for my close-up shots. Love that camera to bits. And that is the close-up camera. So there we go. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you found this video useful. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. Hit the like button if you like the content of these videos. Really would appreciate that, and it helps me grow the channel. So thanks again for watching, and stay tuned for more videos relating to video photography and podcasting. Cheers for now. Bye.